Okay, the Tricentennial Committee, the town of Southborough is now in session. It's Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, at 7:30 p.m. So the first item on the agenda that we have here is reflections on Tricentennial celebratory events. We have Jamie Falcone, and he's going to give us a discussion of the muster, fireman muster, as part of the Tricentennial celebrations. So Jamie, you're on.
Okay,
Welcome.
How do we get that up there?
we're just going to share our screen here so you can see the slide presentation that we prepared. Sorry about our technical difficulties.
Sorry, hang on.
That's all right.
I was working a minute ago.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go back to. Yeah, that's the beginning. Let me just.
Okay, all right. So, all right, I'll start. So, good evening. I'm Jamie Falcone. I'm the current president of the Francis Dexter Newton Veterans Firemen's Association. We're based out of Southborough. The organization was established in 1959 and incorporated in 1960. Through the years, our association has not only grown in membership, but also its dedication to preserving the heritage of firefighting. We proudly maintain our historical firefighting equipment that serves as a tangible reminder of the bravery and innovation of those who came before us. Our organization is a nonprofit charitable organization under the IRS code 501c3. All donations are fully deductible on personal and business tax returns. Our organization is named after Francis Dexter Newton, who was a very prominent citizen of the late 19th century and early 20th century here in Southborough. His accolades are listed there. The legacy of Francis Dexter Newton and his contribution to the town's fire service remains a cornerstone of our identity, inspiring both our preservation efforts and community engagement. When Southborough reorganized its fire department in 1921 and purchased a motorized fire engine, the town voted to sell its first fire engine, a hand engine known as the Falcon. Mr. Newton purchased the Falcon and donated it back to the firefighters of Southborough. When the members of Southborough Fire Department formed our group around the Falcon in 1959, they honored F.D. Newton by naming the organization for him. The Falcon is still with us today. It's right in this firehouse with the town's modern fire apparatus. In 1980s and 90s, our organization attended muster competitions all over the United States, with the Falcon including in Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Nebraska, California, and even Canada. Our purpose, as stated in our Constitution bylaws, is to promote and engage all manly sports and physical culture, and to organize and maintain a Veterans Firemen's Association to organize and maintain companies, crews, or groups among its members for the purpose of participating in contests between other Veterans Firemen's Associations or like organizations to test the efficiency of these hand tubs and other ancient fire apparatus and equipment, to participate in contests with other Veterans Firemen's Associations or like organizations in the laying and coupling of hoses and the use of all kinds of firefighting equipment, both modern and ancient. That's our purpose. Since the inception in 1959, we've been a member in good standing of the New England States Veterans Firemen's League, which was organized in 1890 and still flourishes today. It's the sanctioning body of hand engine musters, and it's their rules and regulations for competition that are still used today. The purpose of the muster is to see which hand engine can throw the longest stream of water. A course of 300 feet long and 8 feet wide is laid out to measure the streams of water. Streams of over 200 feet are not uncommon, with the record being 285. The league does provide $2 million worth of insurance for its sponsored events. In 1960, by vote of the town meeting, our organization was sold a piece of land next to the then Southville Fire Station. And in 1980, we built our clubhouse. This is where we hold our monthly meetings. We house and restore our antique fire engines. And our clubhouse not only serves as a hub for our members, but also as a repository of history, filled with artifacts that tell the story of firefighting's past. Regular restoration projects keep these historical pieces in pristine condition, ensuring their legacy is endured for future generations. Over the years, our association has worked tirelessly to foster a spirit of camaraderie and respect for the traditions of firefighting. Through our events and competitions, we aim not only to celebrate the ingenuity of historical firefighting techniques, but also to educate the public about the evolution of fire service. The musters that we attend become a bridge between generations, connecting us with the stories of those who have dedicated their lives to safeguarding the community. We currently have 3 hand engines. We have the Franklin #1, which was built in 1856 by the William Jeffers Company of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The Lion #2, built in 1875 by Rumsey Company of Seneca Falls, New York. And the Union #1, which is our prize main competition machine, which was built in 1867 by the William Hunneman Company of Boston, Mass. And this has been a part of our organization since 1960. And here's a glimpse of what we do in competition. Well, it's a little choppy, but essentially the engines are pumped by hand. So you're assembling men and women, the more the better. Here we had about 20 people pumping the engine. Yeah, I'm a rookie on top there. It was my first time being what's called the foreman. And I'm looking downstream, waiting for the cue for David, and he's giving the cue for when the wind is just right. And then you're gonna get a good 30 seconds of pumping, and then everybody's winded. And you get each tub gets a series of 15 minutes to be able to compete and shoot the longest stream of water. We probably expect to have somewhere about 15 tubs at our event. So the FD Newton VFA has hosted several musters in Southborough throughout the years, including we were a part of the last 2 birthday celebrations. In 1977, when the town celebrated its 250th, we collaborated with the town's Historical Celebration Committee to host a muster on Choke Field in July 9th, 1977. And again in 2002, during the town's 275th anniversary celebration, we worked with the 275 Celebration Committee to host a muster on the Sunday of Heritage Day weekend on October 12th, 2002. Now, both events were a great success and warmly received by town residents and all who attended. And we are very excited and proud to hopefully be a part of the upcoming 300th anniversary celebration. A couple more slides and I'll be out of your hair here. There are various expenses associated with the hosting the muster. Money for advertising, promoting the muster is essential for a successful event. Prize money to the tubs. Trophies are awarded to the competing hand engines. The bigger the prize money, the more engines we can expect to attend. We hope to attract at least 15 antique engines to our muster, possibly more, depending on the prize money. A PA system would be possibly a disc jockey. That would be helpful to keep the crowd informed and interested in the competition. Most of the field setup equipment and the muster can actually be borrowed from other hand tubs or from the New England organization itself. The paper that's laid out to measure the stream is one of the expenses. Police details, we need water for the event, are just a couple of the other expenses. We do feel that putting on this muster in today's budget, we could use $25,000 to be sufficient to host a muster that we could all be proud of. There are many activities that we could have during the day of the muster that would only enhance the event. The town has numerous organizations that I'm sure would be gladly get involved to try to help host these events. We have ideas such as a chicken barbecue, a band concert, a huge birthday cake, food trucks, golf tournament, bicycle decorating, car show, road race, fireworks, etc. We propose that the date of Saturday, July 17th, 2027 for our muster and our birthday celebration. July 17th will be the town's 300th birthday. Although Southborough was incorporated on July 6th, 1727, This was while the British Empire was, which Southborough was still a part of, was using the Julian calendar. In 1752, the British Empire switched to the Gregorian calendar, which made it necessary to add 11 days to the date of the events under the Julian calendar. Thus, July 17th is the day Southborough was incorporated under the Gregorian calendar. So why not have a huge birthday celebration on the actual day that Southborough turns 300 years old? Now, if you'd like to be part of a hand tub muster or experience a hand engine muster for yourself, see what it's all about, we invite you to, anyone on the committee to join us at one of our several musters to be held throughout New England this summer. Here's a look at our muster schedule. The last muster of the year in Salisbury, Mass probably would be a good one to attend. This would be somewhat like we proposed tonight. And of course, we can always use a hand pumping the engine. It's an experience definitely you would never forget. I would like to thank the committee for allowing us to make this presentation to you tonight. And I do hope that you will consider some of the ideas that we've presented. We look forward to working with the committee to make the event one of the biggest in this town in over 300 years. Thank you. I will open up for questions just for a couple minutes and
I have a couple questions.
I was gonna go right down the
Oh,
table.
okay.
Andrew?
I don't have any questions.
Jimmy?
No, I mean, I
comments.
know what it's,
You know what it's all about.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, I mean, what past events?
DJ, you got a DJ.
Yeah, we definitely, we got the DJ and the PA equipment covered probably.
Your brother.
We obviously don't expect the committee to try to come up with 100% of the fundraising for the event that we're proposing. I suggest that maintain that we obviously could do some of our own legwork and door knocking as well. So you know, we're just delighted to be able to have the commitment to the date, and then also the commitment to trying to figure out where we could host it, which I think could be, we were talking about maybe right here, or Choke Field is a possibility, but we would need the cooperation of the fire services and police details and things like that. Water is one of the big considerations.
Good, Jim? All set?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yes,
I'm gonna skip over Michelle because she was late.
It's just gonna be like one of those things where Caesar goes,
So Jimmy, I know we already talked about a couple of these things
Sure.
but just to bring them up again. So we, on our schedule, we already have kind of thought about a barbecue, like a family barbecue thing. So when you gave that list of other items, I mean, you're open to us doing
Yes.
our family barbecue concept.
I'm open to not stepping on your toes, Patty, and
Right.
whatever you guys suggest that would
Right.
work for us during
Yeah,
our
I'd
event.
just
I
like
mean, if
to
it's a
have
car
it, yeah.
show or whatever that would,
Yeah,
something different that you're not doing, that
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I have a question about the money. And I know you said that you would help raise
Oh, yeah.
the money, which is great. But if the money is partially for prizes, is that allowed by the town? Like, well, since the
But it's
money
not a
would
chance,
be
it's a
coming
contest.
from a 501c3, is there any issue with the 501c3 funding?
Well, the prize money is
Prizes.
issued through the Firemen's and New England Firemen's Associations. They read out the checks because they're the ones actually holding the event and hosting all the different tubs from various parts of New England. So the checks for prize money actually come from them.
So
So
you would
any-
give them the money.
We would give them a donation and they would write the prize money.
Cause they're a
Yeah,
five
so
oh
I'm
one.
still not clear on whether that would be
Yeah, we would
allowed.
review that just with our
Yeah.
town council.
Just
to be
because
sure.
our fundraising end of this is a 501c3,
Mhm.
so can that 501c3 pay money for?
So we'll investigate that with
Money
town council to be
prizes.
sure.
I think one organization can donate to another and then the other organization pays the prize money. Because it's their event, or they'd be hosting the event, right? Under your guidance.
So how much would you be what do you think that you would be looking for from the Tricentennial committee for a donation.
whatever you guys can do. I mean, my organization, definitely we're running lean. But we, you know, I don't know, treasurer, what do we have in the bank?
No, not that much.
Not even $5,000.
Right, but I mean,
But
we
yeah,
could,
we could,
I
do
can
some
see how we
fundraising.
could help you
Yeah,
with some of the marketing and advertising
Mm-hmm.
and promotion end,
Yeah.
because hopefully certainly by that point, we're gonna have a lot of that already in place.
I can talk a monkey
With,
off a
like-
banana wagon, so with your help, I can
Right.
go out and door knock.
Right, but just
we-
like, through the database that we are putting together and to get people to come to it. Now,
Yeah.
you getting the other fire engines and stuff that's on you, but
Yeah,
to get people to come to it and raise awareness about it, I think that we can certainly work with you on that.
that would be welcome.
About that a lot
Mhm.
with, social media presence and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, another big expense would be police detail.
I mean, if we could get them to donate the detail, I don't know if they do that, you know.
Not sure if the town would charge
We're
us
hoping
for
that
water.
there's some.
Right,
some
water.
Some things that.
You know?
would be-
Well, there's
Some
water.
towns we go through,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
put them
You
in.
pay for it.
Oh,
We
okay.
have in other
They've never done
states
it
and other
Yeah.
events.
But I don't know.
So
what-
how do you get that water?
Well, the fire truck comes down and they fill up a bunch of
Oh, no,
tubs
we do it through a hydrant.
and you fill up
So
the
We hook
tubs.
to a
and-
hydrant and then we have a big tank
So,
that
Vanessa, what would that be like? Somebody would have to talk to the fire?
It would be a meter, like they would.
right, well, some
Hydrant.
communities we go to, the water is free. They
Yeah,
don't do anything. Other communities, they'll put a water meter on the fire hydrant.
Okay.
Just number one, to see how much is used, but also some communities make them pay for the water.
yeah,
Which hopefully they won't do that
And-
to us, but
How would we know whether Southborough would charge for that?
well, I mean,
Whose decision would that be?
Probably the select board.
We don't need to decide this.
well, I mean, I don't have a problem asking the
Yeah,
fire
that's
chief,
true,
you know what I mean, like,
We would have a
That sounds right to
conversation
me.
with the DPW, and if we needed any other guidance, we would get that from the select board.
Okay. But just trying to figure out where some of those expenses can be
Mhm.
Right.
oh, absolutely,
to
Um,
rein it in a bit.
thank you.
well, Don, I know you, I think, I thought of a question late, but I think you were still going down the line.
Okay.
If Patty's done,
I think those are the ones.
You
I
can
have.
always grill me later, Pat.
Yeah, I will. I know,
Well,
I know where you live.
Yeah.
since we're giving Andrew seconds, then if Patty, if you think of something.
So I don't want to go out of turn, so I'll wait.
No, I want to continue to.
Someone else might have that question.
Do it.
How long do you envision your event?
it depends on the number of entries. Each engine gets 15 minutes to shoot their streams. And there's 5-10 minutes between each. So you're probably looking at the afternoon. It would start at noon and probably go till 3-4 o'clock.
I was gonna say 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, depends. I mean, if we get more tubs than that, it might go longer. You know what I mean? If we get less, it would be shorter, but normally somewhere between 2.5 to.
People stick around to
Four-
listen to the
4.5
band, it might go a little longer. I don't know.
Okay. So it's something you could do as part of like a full day event.
Sure.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking the barbecue that we're already talking about.
Yeah.
Or something, one of those other things.
Well,
Yeah.
we would certainly want a hand pumping the engine and being the hometown,
Right.
Team,
we would probably want some muscle on our machine and because we won't want to be beat,
That's right.
and actually with the fair amount of people, we shot very like within few feet of the,
Or then
of
How
the
many people does
winning.
it normally take to do that?
we could put 25 or 30
I was
guys.
just
in.
saying 30 is the max,
So
probably.
we want to recruit like the guys that work out.
30 guys that are gonna rip out of there.
Yeah, the
for sure.
bigger the better.
Men and women, everybody has
Well,
fun.
it did say manly.
Well, and those
That
were,
was 1960.
yeah, well, those, we need to revise
I
our
did
bylaws.
notice that.
Yeah,
Maybe that would be a good idea. Sure.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to know, what have you guys found as like a proven track record for advertising? You guys have done this before, so what
Sure.
has worked best?
Well, we typically rely on the word of mouth from the other teams coming and they bring family and friends and so on and so forth. As far as hosting the event, I mean, David, you could probably,
Yeah,
you've been involved
normal,
in the other.
I mean, maybe a couple of newspaper articles explaining what it is.
Absolutely.
Leading up to the event.
Yeah,
you know.
It is
on
newsworthy,
the town
so,
website or on some website,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
plenty of places for them to look and see what's going on.
I think we
No,
would
today's
probably try to
world-
utilize social media to the
Yeah,
best of our ability
absolutely.
leading up to the event.
Yeah.
How about a
that makes
signboard?
sense.
Yeah,
Sign.
yeah, we used to put big signs up.
Mm-hmm,
Had
right,
the
yeah,
fans
the
would
field,
give us a
right.
So that's to get
minimum
people to
permit.
come to it.
Because do you guys also, do you do presentations to kids? Because if you get those little kids excited about it, they're
Then they're
gonna
gonna wanna
drag their
go.
parents.
Like it's touch a truck.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, we were at Touch a Truck. That was it was a very successful and loud event. Towards the end, a lot of horn blowing.
Mm.
But we had our fire engine there, and you know, I think yeah, more outreach like that definitely leading up to the event would help.
Or even the day of the event could, you know, it's.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you did the car show.
Oh no. See, the thing is people see this thing and they're like, well, what is it? You know, can I? Oh, I can touch it. I can get involved. I can pump it, and then people get
Yeah.
excited. They want to get involved.
Right.
So that's my thing is it's a fun event. It's nothing that you'll ever
I
forget if
think
you
it could be
jump on
really
it.
fun, very different, very historic.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it blends, if we don't wanna do it with barbecue, God, this will. So I don't
Could
wanna.
blend well with anything,
Well, I
really.
was thinking like an antique car show.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Marlboro just had one. It was
It was
absolutely bumping.
Wildly successful. Yeah.
Yes, so that could be a really cool thing. I think that's a great idea. And
Sure.
doing that as the morning part, and then people
Yeah.
are gonna wanna stay.
Yeah.
It's
Right. I get it.
a cool idea.
Greg, I'm gonna get to you.
No, but,
No, I'm gonna get to you.
no, that's fine, but. it had
I'm gonna
different-
get to it.
That's fine, no, it was a different comment because of a car show thing, that's all.
You'll
You
have.
gonna
you'll
bring
have-
your hot rod?
I've got one.
Okay. I know you do.
Kate's got the floor.
Oh, I'm okay. I can pass off the floor. I don't think you guys, I could bring my Prius to the antique show, but.
I've seen a little of everything at car shows. But yeah, I mean, I think anything like that would work.
Okay, and have
Yeah.
you guys done something like that before?
Usually we fly out to the events. What else do we see? We see farmers markets,
Yeah.
various tables set up, like vendors selling ice cream. We've seen food trucks. We've
Yeah.
seen,
Yeah.
a lot of different, yeah. Commons, the downtown settings lend themselves to that. I mean, honestly, if we could close down Main Street and shoot a stream down Main Street, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
getting the logistics of that are a nightmare. That's why we mentioned a field.
Those are my.
Okay, Michelle.
I'm sorry, I'm totally out of, I don't know what's going on here, so.
Well, we're proposing to have a antique hand fire engine muster event as part of the 300,
You can watch the video later and see his slide.
which we just asked with maybe about budget that is out of reach, but we'll certainly can put the event on with less.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
we're still really pretty early in our
Mhm.
fundraising,
Right.
so.
A bit of some time.
That, right. Goals.
All set, Michelle?
I'm happy to come back as well, like anytime, you're reconsidering.
How long would this take you to plan? Like, when would you need a commitment?
The sooner the better,
Well,
but,
yeah, I think that the most important point this far out is a date.
yeah, commitment to the
Because there
date
are
really is
other,
all we.
there are other organizations, hand tubs that have musters, and so, you know what I mean? To
Yeah,
get the
the New
optimal
England
date.
States Veterans League is
I
already
I mean,
planning.
is July a bit busy month for this kind of stuff? I mean, you know, from Southborough, the population here kind of dwindles in July.
It goes down. I think we could still draw the crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think if you're far enough out that I think if you make people aware of.
because what are the
what's
people that are
going
gonna,
on,
that are hanging
will
around
come
like
back.
me, the
Right.
chumps that don't go on vacation every
these are the
summer.
people that don't have the
Yeah.
houses and the
What are they
kids.
doing? They're going to the
Right.
muster. But yeah, I get it. I mean, the concern is the count,
Okay,
Okay, Kate just checked the date, on, well, and there's no other, conflicting, things
Wonderful.
on,
Holidays or anything.
on July 17th. So, if everyone is cool with that date,
Pencil it in.
I think if we
pencil
take
it
a,
into our calendar.
if we take a vote, if we
Confirm.
entertain a
Sorry.
motion and take a vote tonight, it would be the first locked in date of an event that we would have. And we
Wonderful.
could grow from that.
I think that's a good idea.
And it is, of course, the town's birthday. It is their actual 300th birthday.
So if this committee votes to have that on July 17th, whoever objects to it would be considered no longer a self-arrest.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Anyone want to make a motion that we, plan to have the, firemen's, is this called the muster?
Muster.
Firemen's muster on Saturday, July 17th, 2027.
So moved.
Motion's been made
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
So does
Margaret?
this mean we're committing, we're like fully committing that we're definitely in doing this? Or does this mean we're gonna
We're, se-
try to work it out?
yes, we're setting the date. This is for the date.
So we're
So that
reserving.
these
the
guys
date.
can work with the date and we
Okay.
can work with the date and the funding. If the date for some reason falls through in the near future, you guys would let us know.
Yeah.
And if something happened internally to the town, which is, the state doesn't allow water to be squirted more than 20 feet or something. We'd work around
I
that
get it.
or the date. But this would be to lock in that date and have both of us work toward that.
Please.
That makes it easier for you guys.
Yes.
Mhm.
And also, the muster is held rain or shine. Matter of fact, in 1960, they held one during a hurricane.
It's hard to tell where the water is dropping on the paper when it's
Yeah, right.
raining, but they do it.
They do.
Yeah.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Morris, yes?
I think we're right, there's somebody on screen. We can raise it.
Oh, okay. All in favor, raise your hand, please. And any opposed? It's unanimous.
We've
Wonderful.
already added you to the tricentennial calendar.
Thank you. Thank you.
You,
Thank you, committee, ladies and gentlemen, for
You
your time.
remember my brother Tommy being on?
Oh, yeah.
The union one?
Yeah. I remember we had a weekend where there were two musters. There was one in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, and then the Sunday was in Pepperell. And we all went up Saturday night and stayed in Pepperell. The only way Tommy could go is if he promised your mother that he would go to church Sunday morning.
He probably did.
He did, oh yeah, in
Yes.
his hand-up shirt. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. This is
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
time
Thanks a lot.
and commitment.
Yes,
Thank
It's
you.
a really cool
Good to see you.
idea, especially for
appreciate
tricentennial and
Yeah, thanks.
history and.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Safe to say that everything goes through
Thank
you.
you.
I'll recruit my husband.
Thank you.
I got
Oh,
that.
we need it.
Yeah.
All right, I got that.
Thank you very much.
Everything, Jamie, everything goes through Vanessa.
Okay,
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Something
you
changes
very
on your
much.
side.
I don't think so
Vanessa,
either, yeah, so,
Thank you.
Changes on ours. she'll tell
so,
you.
Jamie?
Thank you.
All right, okay, yeah, yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, all right, great.
Two questions for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Of the mustard team.
Next item on the agenda.
I don't know about that.
you might-
With the
Is
mustard
to
team,
approve the
is there
meeting
like an
minutes of May
entrance fee?
7th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion for that.
No, there's no entry. Sir.
Because like car shows is
I'll
usually
entertain
an
a
entrance
motion
fee,
to
that's why we think.
approve the minutes
Some of it's
of May
paid
7th,
for.
2025.
I wasn't sure if they,
Sure, so moved.
each mustard comes up
And
to
anyone want
500
to second
bucks.
it?
Sean Pump.
Okay,
Show up.
any,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're members of that. New England
Changes.
League.
Don't know, I
They
get
can
it,
pay
it's just,
dues to and.
I have one, it's
so
line
that's why There's no entry.
yeah, because for
48.
a lot of shows and events, there's always like an entrance fee and that offsets all the costs.
Right.
So that's why I had that question.
Yeah, not for this one.
But that's one reason.
Bands.
I enjoy it, I've seen a bunch.
It's 48.
You know, they kick
And
ass.
we're gonna supersize the bank.
And I hope they don't overbook the same day because we don't have space.
And then is line 52 Yahoo with two
The
O's?
mustard is a 4-hour event.
It should be, I'm sure of
Our
that.
show is like,
Yeah,
one
okay.
thing a day, like Sunday.
That was.
Right, we're questioning something on line
Let 'em
62.
try to book it, yeah, because
No, 62.
I'm telling you, I'm planning for 25 years. There's a
What does
lot.
that
So
mean?
we were
It's a
talking,
big thing.
so
The
we were
date thing
talking
is also
about,
big
I mean,
because
this is, we're having a meeting.
the strictest is shown
But
a year
there's
in
so many
advance.
people that we need to,
We commit
figure out,
because
we want to have
We don't wanna have like 15 people, we don't wanna have people going from 3 grades. So we thought just to do,
I don't know. if they share
the
that.
Burnett Cemetery or
Yeah.
the OBG.
Yeah,
And I'm
And
saying,
then continue on maybe the next
So you
year
wanna
and
tell
do one.
Tony,
maybe we should just delete that part.
nice to meet you.
Yes.
Like, I'll
Two,
be there
two
most
graveyards.
Sundays.
Yeah, so,
Two graveyards, period.
yeah, can you
Okay.
delete to be featured in year 1 and beyond?
'Cause I need super
Yeah.
for my. for a
We're
few
not
years.
committed to beyond.
Yeah. Diesel there, and everything.
I'm not.
Family business, we love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else on the minutes?
Have a good day.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, and some revisions, made, minor revisions. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the status of the working groups. The community barbecue.
Jenny.
Is that Jenny? I don't think Jenny.
Well, sounds like we could do it at the same time as. the-
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
that would be a really
Yeah.
good,
Yeah, I think,
Yeah. The picture of the barbecue chicken on the slideshow, that really.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that really, that would be a good combo.
Yeah.
So, I think earlier there was discussion about community barbecue and like battle of the bands or, band concerts.
Yeah.
So if we do the barbecue with the mustard, we could do the bands on another day.
You could always do food trucks or something with that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so, so then moving forward, if Ginny's got this, we'll inform her that her new
Date,
working group and now date is,
July 28th.
is the community barbecue and fireman's muster on July 17th. Anything else on that one? Greg, you in on that one?
I'm good for that. Because you brought the car show and there was a lot of moving parts, I don't want you to overbook one day.
Yeah.
And that was my big concern, because we have limited, let's say, event and parking space. So you don't wanna overbook all these events and then no one can park. You know, so the muster and the barbecue, you know, the muster's 4 hours, the barbecue's 4 hours, that's a perfect thing. Car show again is 4 hours, do you put something else with it? The question I had for the muster and the car show difference, car shows usually charge you $20 to bring your car in. Okay, and that's how they recoup their fees and they get,
I think we need to concentrate on the fireman's muster being the spectacle.
yes.
The day.
So they told me that, you know, there is no entrance fee, because I was asking, you know, is that one way that the, you know, each muster group, is it $500 just to enter, you know, to offset that $20,000 ticket? You know, and so I was just looking at it from that perspective. How do we offset that $20,000 ticket in versus a car show where every car, you know, gives $20? That way they pay for, you only need like 5 trophies, you know, or whatever, 5 or 10 trophies, which are cheap. And you know, you're paying. And then if you want to get all these car shows, you gotta start one either this year or next year, because there's such a huge car show community. If you're not in that loop, you're not gonna get the cars. Yes, there's some nice cars in town, but I go everywhere, and there's all these different clubs as well. So if you got you know, all these different car clubs involved, they will make an event.
So what we're doing right now is writing you down for the car show,
What about the car
as a
shows?
helper,
I'm
right?
willing to
We
be,
wanted
I'm willing to
do.
be
Okay,
second
can we just
chair.
move on?
I am
Yeah,
never first.
I don't wanna get bogged down on the
Yeah.
car show.
We're not.
No,
that's
another
not
one.
been on our agenda.
But it was just one of those things that was brought up in how,
Okay, so the next item, then, we're done with the community barbecue and fireman's muster. For right now, the drone show. Is Travis. is working on.
there's nothing to report other than the information we had before. We got information like you could book it as soon as, I don't remember the date.
6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah,
So at that point, I think we decided, okay, that's what we need, and then we'll just pick this up later.
But were we still talking about doing this as part of like the summer nights and replacing the fireworks with a drone show? Or is this another event?
I think we were talking about doing it with summer nights.
Summer nights, okay, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
okay.
My notes are that Travis was gonna continue to do his research. I think he found the ones that he was looking at were wicked expensive and huge. And he was gonna be looking into something a little bit.
Well, yeah, I think it just brings up a whole, like, there's a chicken and egg problem, right? Of it's a lot of money. Where does the money come from? At some point, we're gonna get to a point where we have a sense of how much money we realistically are gonna have, and then that will determine what we can do, right? And it sounded like, Travis knows the drill about, you get to a certain point and it's either like fireworks or a drone show, right? And if you have more money, you can do the drone show, and if you have less money, you just do fireworks.
Okay,
Simple.
we done with drone show? Historic events, did we already cover that one, Michelle?
Oh, we haven't.
Oh, go, you're on.
So Andrew has been talking about doing an oral presentation for some time. Historic was doing it and they had started the process. However, I believe that we are now in charge of doing that. And Andrew got me in touch with Terry Underwood, is that her name?
Yes,
Anyway, we had a long conversation on Monday, very productive. And she's very excited about doing this too.
I thought this was something the historic commission already started.
That's right.
Oh,
So
did they not choose to move forward with it?
no, so Kelly O'Brien had been doing it.
Yeah.
And she got so busy at the building department that she doesn't really have the time to really get it off the ground.
it's ironic because I reached out, we had been talking about this, and I reached out to her and said, hey, we talked about this, because we had this idea and you were doing it, but you realize you're doing it first, so how about this, we'll just be your helpers, we'll just follow your lead.
Yeah,
And then I ran into her at the hall, at town hall, and she's like, oh, by the way, I got your email. She's like, oh, did you get my email? I haven't even read it yet. And it's a long email explaining like how she's so busy and how that she wanted us to do it. And so it's like, okay, I mean, we can just trade back and forth, but I'll let you continue. Sorry.
Okay, so after speaking with Terry, who was very enthusiastic and thought it was a great idea, they had done something similar and with the veterans. And I think that she won an award for a state award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm very excited about it. And we are going to I actually emailed Kelly to get the questions that we had put together. Kelly came over to my house and we put some questions together. So we are now looking for volunteers. So that's the next step, is to get people who are willing to come. Either the best bet would be actually to go to Chartier to it's Sam, right?
It's outdoor access media, yeah.
To go there to be interviewed. However, she's very flexible. She'll go to people, she'll go to the elderly center, she'll do anything like that. So we have to collect some.
Yeah.
We're in the process of collecting photos. So if anyone has any old Southborough photos, just to use as, some not props, but.
And this doesn't cost anything, right?
That's right.
So that part's nice,
Yes.
and they have
and
nice
how would it be?
documented.
Access, like if somebody wanted, where is it? It
Or
would
it
end up as a
videos.
YouTube video.
YouTube,
Okay.
yes. So that's the start. So that happened Monday. And then the next thing is the graveyard. Am I talking about all of my things or just one at a time?
So is the historic commission going to still help you with this and be
Yes,
involved?
yes, yeah.
All right.
And then, so that's where it's at. So that's sort of that's a new development. And then, the graveyard committee is meeting on the 24th. We actually have a new person who's going to join. And my question to the committee, because I'm not really sure how this goes, do they need to fill out a volunteer form? Okay, so we are meeting and there we will decide whose lives we'll reenact and go forward. And I believe that we also have a date in mind. Ooh. So. That was going to be, let's see. November 7th. On a Sunday afternoon. It would have been ideal to do it Halloween, but
Yeah.
the kids.
So I have an idea related to the oral history project.
Okay.
So, because I feel like we're excited now.
Yes.
We've now actually, like, Terry has a way to help us, and then we kind of more coordinated with the
Mhm.
historical commission. One of the things we could do is maybe like formally kind of launch it, or have, like, we had a
Mhm.
press release at the beginning where
Yep.
we could, just say, we wanted to announce that the Tricentennial Committee and the historical are doing this program, and we're looking for people to be interviewed, just really, like a paragraph, and then, give it to the community advocate and my South Borough.
Community advocate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think you'll probably get some word will start to spread.
Yeah.
And then I could, mention it at an upcoming select board meeting,
Okay.
and then everyone could just start to spread the word that way.
It-
Just get a little buzz.
It did go in the senior center newsletter.
Okay,
Already, and I guess there was no traction from that.
yeah. So I think if we do it more in this way, like kind of an announcement,
Okay,
does that sound like a good
Yeah.
idea?
I
I can
do,
put it
yeah.
in our bi-monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that
I
other.
think that that's perfect. We need some
Mhm.
content.
So maybe I could put together a little draft and then just share it with everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
In that Tricentennial newsletters.
Yes, I know you're looking for content.
Do we have a centrally located events page for anything in town? Like, does town hall have an events page? Because we've got things everywhere and no one knows where to find it from outside of the circle. So I wasn't sure if, we've got the town hall and it has all the stuff. Does the town hall have an event page to publicize what Southborough is doing? Because
We do, but it doesn't include, events from community organizations. It's more
Beth
focused
Milo
on public
usually does
meetings
that,
and
like, for the,
town events.
for the
government
next week, she covers what's going on for the next week.
could there be a different link for social events in Southborough Town Hall? Because I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. Because we need to get all these dates and commitments within 1 year from now. That way it's finalized, and then the next year up to these events, we're fine tuning it. Cause this is gonna take, 1 year to put in place and then 1 year to fine tune it. That's just
Well, I think
what
that
I was
once
wondering.
we have dates that
I
we're
get that.
actually working on and events, then when we actually put together a calendar, we can promote that calendar.
So. Were you on house tours or still the graveyard?
No, I'm done with the graveyard.
Are you done with your items?
And,
House
You wanted to
tours,
discuss the.
house tours, that's
That's-
cake, right?
that's
No.
very exciting.
I thought it was.
No.
Cake. Oh, but Kate Adams, right?
Yes, but
What?
Yes,
I'm house tour, yes,
I've got
yeah.
a picture.
So that's proceeding, they're taking a little break, we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And they're gonna do some independent organizing over the summer. Mostly talking to people of houses. So it's proceeding, Kate's doing a great job, and we already have a couple of people on board. And is going to have some gardens as well. And they are still looking at June, and one person was supposed to be looking into specific dates in June of 2027 to not conflict with graduation or something. And she didn't come to our last meeting, so we don't know where that's at. But they are still looking somewhere in June.
June would be great for the gardens.
Yeah, so one person should I be able to say this? I don't know. One person that's kind of committed actually is a florist and has a cutting garden in Southborough. And that's what, a 2,000 square foot cutting garden. That is, hopefully, she has said she's gonna do it. So I personally am very excited about that one. Yeah. So. That's it. It's gonna happen. It will be, I keep telling them, it'll be the premier event of the year.
Second.
I think the mustard's gonna be.
I'm so
Now we're
excited
gonna
about
fight it
that.
out.
I'm
That's
gonna
what
tug
we
of war
need.
with it too.
That's what this committee means.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the next item on the agenda is the parade. Jimmy and I and the parade working group met with two wonderful ladies who were on their parade route in Westbrook. We met on May 28th at the at the town hall. And for 2 hours, we were
Oh, the contacts I gave you?
actually, no, they were, I thought they were, but there were names on the parade.
The stuff
Papers.
I gave you? It wasn't the one we met with?
It would, they, when we said that we were telling them how we got their name, they said, I said, well, you met with Patty, and they said, no, we didn't. It was a different, it was, you must have met with people that were on the committee. And we met with people that were on the parade working. And I mean, it was just
Two sisters, and they were
it was-
awesome. They were awesome.
it was information overload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fabulous, fabulous. But the one piece of information that we asked them, and they didn't have, because they weren't involved with that piece, which was how much did the parade cost? So
That should have been in the notes that I turned over to. I think that we had a budget from them.
they sent me yesterday, one of the sisters, her name is Polly. She sent multiple files, which I haven't gone through yet, of their it was not just parade, but a bunch of other stuff. So, and one of the good things that we heard from them was that we were far, far more organized at this point in time for putting together a parade. And that you know, we've been worrying about not being able to book people. They're gonna get booked in 2027. They said, no, they didn't have any, they put the parade together in 6 months.
So do we have a date for the parade or?
I was gonna ask you, Andrew, I know I've been working with Vanessa, and tomorrow I'm gonna be at that department head meeting. And at some point, I think the committee, our committee has already said that we're gonna piggyback on Heritage Day. So if Heritage Day is on that
Yeah.
Monday, we'll go with that.
So it would be like a Heritage Day plus type of like, you
So,
have Heritage Day, but you also have parade.
yes,
Okay.
So exciting.
but whatever the town, I guess the select board would make the decision as to whether or not to put it on Monday.
I think we already made this decision.
We didn't vote on it,
Oh.
the board didn't vote on it, you know, there was some concern that, because it would be on a Sunday, you know, not to do it in the morning during worship services and yet,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sundown.
it's slightly before we changed the clocks, which I looked up for that particular season. We won't have changed the clocks yet, but there was some concern about, you know, putting a lot of activity into just a few hours, but I don't see any other option. I've checked with other communities, I've checked with our state delegation. Really, nobody is planning those kinds of large community events on high holidays. High religious holidays.
So you got a generic answer.
So do we know what the date of that is? So I can just pencil it in here?
Yes.
So Andrew, we would respectfully ask that I'm sure Travis and the rec department would want to know that as a group, the town has committed to moving it to a certain day.
Yeah, I think we already did that, but if we didn't, then
So it would be Sunday, October 10th.
Cool. Like. 10-10.
One of the things we learned in this credible meeting was that certain people in Westboro had connections. And they took advantage of those, either politically or socially. And it was really not like a game changer, but it really added some meat on the bone, getting some of the big shots at the meeting. And they pretty much indicated that the best thing that they did through a connection was to get the UMass marching band. And there was like hundreds of musicians in that band.
Yeah, and they're like one of the best, in Macy's Day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
They had a
Um,
huge parade. They had, it was
That's
like
really
2.5 miles, and it had 3 or 4 different entrances because they had so many people, and they had the guy in the stilts and the Shriners. And
Clydesdale horses.
you can get the Shriners.
their the parade route was 2.3 miles. Ours would be 1.5. There's staging area at the beginning was what we're proposing, which is like Newton Street, Austin Road, East Main Street, and those neighborhood roads. The medical center, there's tons of room on Newton Street to stack up these participants and still have safe travel for emergency vehicles. And then their destaging area was the Hastings School. And our destaging area is proposed to be Nary and Trident. So it's very similar. Ours would be a little bit shorter of a parade, but as we discussed, I think at our last meeting, we're not Westbrook. We don't have to pretend to be, bigger than we are. So it was really encouraging, a lot of great information. And I think we'll continue to have discussions to see when we should start to lock in people and organizations for a date. So we should,
Dave, I thought you just gave me the.
right, but Vanessa's not sure if, as sure as.
Do you feel
Andrew.
like the board needs to officially vote that?
Look, I don't see. To kind of reserve that day as a day where. I mean, I don't know of any conflict that's happening on October 10.
2027.
Yeah,
Well, it's just, it's that squeeze between the end of the Christian church worshipers in
Yeah.
town and sunset.
like it sounds like there's, that was one of the nice things that came from the muster presentation, July 17th, and now we can start to like that. I mean, if we do that and say, okay, it's like, the official policy of,
Right.
we're gonna, this
The
day is
times
gonna
are
be a
great.
target.
I mean, you're talking a couple hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start at 12:30 and you're done by 2:30.
Yeah.
But then.
Because it would be shifting Heritage Day
Right,
too,
Heritage
so all
Day.
the
Right,
things are
right.
set up.
So Heritage Day is what, normally 10 to 3?
Yeah, so it's just shifting a little bit later.
I'm
we have to
remembering
go-
like. That, I mean, one of the benefits of. Selecting this date really early is then. Making sure that particularly businesses that might be affected by road closures. Just have tons of advance notice that. We're gonna be doing this, cause it's bad, I know we've learned the lesson, it's sometimes. Bad, like shutting down roads without a lot of advance notice.
And I also checked with our partners at St. Mark's
Yep.
just to make sure, since it's their property, that they were fine with that and there were no conflict there either.
Well, some of our discussion would have included also the Face School fields on Parkerville. And maybe even some of the parking down on the Middle Road. So it would be Fay and St. Mark's. And
Also,
I guess either but there's very, very few businesses along that route on a Sunday.
Also gives, like, youth
All those
sports leagues some advance notice to please try to avoid that date.
Mhm.
This on the agenda. Can you remember too,
Yes.
please?
So you guys will vote that?
Sure.
Part of the reason for that is
October 10th.
Sunday, October 10th. And we'll have to huddle with Travis to, if he starts Heritage Day at 9 o'clock in the morning, there's still
10. Still 15.
at 10. But there's church services at both churches by the town hall and at St. Anne's and even St. Matthew's. So that may have to be moved closer to.
Yeah, because I mean, usually Heritage Day is on a Monday, they don't have to
Right.
contend with any of that.
Why not Saturday? Cause then you don't have to deal with churches, cause most parades start at 10 o'clock.
Saturday certainly would interfere with St. Mark's sports schedules. If they were home, it would interfere with all the youth sports programs. And that's
All right,
a town within a town.
Yeah.
The youth sports. So that's why we stay away from Saturday.
Mhm. Thank you.
Any questions so what we're gonna do, I guess, is the working group will meet. We'll start to digest this stuff. Some of the stuff they gave us is the paperwork, like a parade application form that Westboro gave us. We also had that from Littleton. That stuff, and let town council review it to see if it's adequate for our protection. To have participants sign that stuff. And there's a few other pieces of paper. Oh, the insurance that they may have or may not have, that type of stuff. And so we'll be working that through the system. And then I guess continue with our homework to see what's the prime time for starting to book people. But we're basically, one of the messages we got from Westboro was, it's a year and a half away, and it's a little bit too early to start looking. But they did say that
I mean,
it doesn't matter when it is.
They had some,
Kate Donahue would be she never misses it.
few good things. They talked about Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, this, that. But if the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts want to be in the parade, you've got to go slow. They don't want them just walking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they want, whether you get a trailer and like the Boy Scouts, put up a tent, make a campfire, this and that. They asked them to make some type of float, no matter who it was.
And they didn't want, they recommended not to have groups of children just marching with their parents.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna be watching the parade too. You can't just have all the kids in the parade, right?
And that was the flip side of that, was if they're not in the parade, then the kids are gonna go and want to watch them, which means their parents and grandparents.
And no throwing candy out of vehicles or this or that or anything like that. They were adamant about that, but no, the kids aren't running out and this and that.
Dangerous.
I don't know, there was a few other things that they
A lot of details about,
mentioned.
porta potties and
Yeah,
how, one of the things was they, the Westboro, the Rangers, they're red and white, right? So they had these bright red T-shirts for all the parade staff people. So people had a question like, where's the nearest, water station? Go find a person with go ask a red shirt, So that we thought that was kind of a good idea, but when we eventually
maybe the red nose.
get all the volunteers, that we somehow distinguish them with maroon, gold, and white.
Why you want to go the way? Our colors are from the logo or not?
I just said that because.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh.
I've gone.
Yeah,
Isn't there a new porta potty company running the Westboro line?
Oh, we didn't get into that level.
I know, it's just a great, it got to be,
wow.
to use them, I'm just saying.
Okay, any more on the parade?
Have you asked Marlboro, because they do a different type of parade, and, just to get a second opinion and second way of,
It's on our list. Yeah, Marlboro, they know what they're doing.
yeah, they've been doing it for years.
Okay, the brick fundraiser.
Oh.
I actually
So-
talked to a person this afternoon. Who
Can I
said,
just talk about one more event?
oh, sure.
I don't know whether this comes under working groups or something else, but Freddie Gillespie approached me about doing something for open space in conjunction with the Tricentennial. And she was suggesting some series of hikes or something. And I suggested that she put together a plan and come in for a meeting.
Series of what?
Like a series of hikes,
Yeah.
somehow
hikes.
related to history. I'm not
What?
quite sure how she was gonna get that.
Walks.
Hikes.
We don't have
Um,
we don't have any mountains, so.
Well,
There's
it's
some
just a
nice
walk.
trails.
A
Yeah.
walk.
We have all
Right,
these
yeah.
trails,
You know,
yeah.
whether it's a
Yeah.
history
Yeah.
walk
Well, we
kind
have
of
walking
thing, or
trails.
whether it's in
I don't
open
know if
space
it's
area,
mobile.
I'm not sure. I
It's
suggested
not-
she put together
yeah.
a plan and come in and present it like Jamie did.
Good idea.
Yeah,
I think it's great. The more,
Yeah, somebody
more
else
events, the
actually,
better. I
I
think
said
it's a
that
good
to, and I
idea.
forget who it was.
especially if they're gonna put it together.
Yeah. That's right, right. Brick finders, go for it.
no, I talked to a guy this afternoon and he, I didn't even bring it up because I figured as obnoxious as I could be, I wouldn't add on to it. So, but I guess he knew that I was part of that, this, so. He said, yeah, I want to buy a brick, so we might have one more bricks. Go ahead, Ted.
One more always counts.
Yeah.
That's it. So we haven't had some more sales, which is good. We have now Joyce, who I sat down with the other day and introduced her. So in addition to getting Karen and Michelle
Mhm.
onto Bloomerang, we now have Joyce. So Joyce took all of our printed order forms and scanned them and has attached them to each constituent profile in Bloomerang so that we have the electronic receipt in that constituent's profile. It's great. I'm getting together with her again early next week. And then we're going to start working on the ones that are the orders that have come through our online portal, because those people are not in our database. And we need to get the orders, people that have orders on the online portal into our database and their orders. And then we need to take all of those people that she's now attached the records to. I think I was the one that put the records in, put the people in, attach the records to, and then we have to get those all into the online database, online portal to make the actual orders. So there's a few more steps that I have planned for her, which is good.
So with that, you got a plan, that's good.
Yes,
When would we make the first order? Roughly?
we need to have more sales to make the first order, frankly. We got a little stalled. I've been kind of busy with a couple other things. But we need to promote the group sales. I have somebody, actually Joyce is gonna work with potentially the gardeners to do it. And I have another person that's already requested specific order forms because she's planning to buy 10. But we need to get the group sales going because I think that's really the key to doing this. We had reached out to one group who eventually came back to us and said they weren't interested. So we will go with other groups, basically.
There were
And we
two,
need to promote that.
there were two women from the garden sale that said that they wanted to buy bricks. That's when He said that we need to find out about a group sales.
So, yes, right. And
Their
she,
names right
Joyce also put all of those new email addresses we had from the garden, that day we were at the garden club sale. All those contacts are now in Bloomerang too.
Oh, I put mine in. Did you have a separate list? And they didn't say to do a duplicate.
It didn't,
No,
no. Did it? It didn't.
Did it say what?
it
They
didn't
were
say that-
duplicates. If you were trying to create a name that was already in there, it would have told you that that name was already in there.
Right.
I put it,
But where, was it a sheet that you had?
yes.
Oh, well, then I had two other sheets.
Oh, yay,
Oh,
good.
so you
Okay.
must have taken the sheet when you left.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I stayed and I had
Okay.
two other sheets.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So we're increasing our database, which is good,
Mhm.
and we need, frankly, I need some help promoting the brick sales. I need other people to help do that.
I can
Can you
do it.
remind me what, because I'm thinking we should mention this at our department head meeting tomorrow. And, try and funnel that out to all our boards and committees that, maybe
Yeah, that would
haven't
be
heard
great.
about it yet.
Yeah.
So can you remind me what the pricing structure is for the group sales?
You know what, and I can even send you
Okay,
an order
that would be better.
form that you could forward out to them, it's just a PDF.
Yeah.
And the key is that if they have 10 or more, that they're like, one person from that organization is going to collect all of that, collect the
Okay,
checks and the order forms and give it to us in one piece.
okay,
So that they're actually like our salespeople kind of thing. They get a $50 discount on each brick. So
Okay.
instead of $300, it's gonna be $250.
okay,
The kicker here is that those orders cannot be done online
okay,
because I can't have multiple prices.
right,
Can't
got it.
can't do that way.
So that one's a little bit more manual, but
Yeah, but you know what? We make more money when it's checks anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's no fees.
Yeah.
So whoever's with the organization, they collect the order forms, they collect checks, they give it to us in one bundle. And as long as it's at least 10, they get the group. discount.
okay, perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'll send that to you tomorrow. Thanks.
You can go to the transfer station on Saturday. It's been raining every Saturday.
Yeah,
So
no.
I'd be right at this.
yeah, I,
When but you still wind up going, I mean, this Saturday will be the 13th, right? 13th
14th.
Saturday in a row.
Oh, you're talking about the 13th rainy Saturday.
Yeah,
That's the 14th.
so you probably, I mean, I think there was snow on the ground last time it was sunny. But at the transfer station, aren't you kind of getting the same audience, the same potential buyers? And if they don't buy this week, are they gonna buy next week?
Well, that's the thing. So if you're there, people say, oh, I'm gonna buy it. And then they say, oh, I forgot. Let me do it now.
But
So
we've
that's the-
also, from Michelle spearheading this, we've also added a lot of people that just want to be kept in touch about stuff. So we've added a lot of people to our database for the newsletter. And that's also important.
So you think it's still productive to go to the transfer?
It wouldn't hurt, just for a couple of hours. I'm not talking about all day,
Yeah.
but just for a couple of hours, the busy time, like 2 to 4.
I'm assuming you're at the lunch truck Wednesdays?
No, not yet. There must have been 1,000 people there today.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm
It
assuming-
was great.
And they're only there for 4
I was
weeks,
worried.
so you've only got 2 more lunch truck events.
Yeah, I think today was the last one.
My bad.
Any other events that we
It
can
was a nice day today.
piggyback on? Any other events coming up that we might be able to piggyback on?
Like, when's a little league parade that coming?
I've already had that.
They had already had.
Summer reading, the
Open-
summer reading
opening
opening of the
day.
library.
Saturday at the baseball field, because you've got, that place is packed with parents and kids. Every Saturday, there's a baseball game.
So if anybody wants to set one of those little tables up to do this, to help Michelle out, so she's not having to do them all. She can just leave that table and a little box of goodies on her porch. Just get some other people involved.
But
We all set with the bricks?
Yeah.
Yep. Next item is fundraising. That's Ginny. We'll skip over that if there's nothing else. Okay, and then promotion of Tricentennial newsletter.
I am behind on the latest edition. I was a little, like I said, tied up on other projects for a little bit. So, it'd be great if anybody has some things to help
We're gonna give you
to
some content.
content would be great, images, just something to include in there. I mean, obviously, we're gonna feature the group sales for the bricks, but I mean, I want different stuff to be in this and to be featured every month. I don't want people to be bored that it's the same thing. And maybe occasionally throw in like some historic photos or something like, did you know kind of thing, or like a picture of
Yeah.
Main Street from 1800, something. Trivia, sure.
I was just gonna say, we have some trivia questions we've used for historical events in the past.
Sure,
So we'll send
Yeah.
this along to you.
that would be great.
Awesome.
We could put in a couple of, like one or two each month. That
You
would
could
be
have a
cool.
South Road trivia night.
Ooh, that's an idea, yes.
So don't give those questions out just yet.
Okay, other matters properly before the committee, we made some progress on the 2027 Heritage Day. But Andrew, you're gonna get that on
Yes.
a select board agenda. Community event calendar, we're starting to fill that in.
I can forward that, the updated version to everybody.
Other matters properly before the committee. And I want you guys to, I want your opinion. We talked to the Westboro people about their
Right?
the time capsule.
Okay.
And what they told us was I don't remember, Jim, if they know exactly what was in it, but we asked them where it was. And they said it was that somebody in Westboro had made a beautiful bench. And they attached the time capsule to the underside of the bench, and the bench is actually inside the Westboro Town Hall. So that I don't think we've ever heard of that. So what
Well, they did one here once, didn't they?
nobody knows where it is.
Where it is.
It was buried out, it was buried out in front of the fire station.
DPW stuff. By the gazebo?
Yeah, up, but back further. So, who knows now? They probably, well, it's
I think John Boland
Big-
would go.
Heritage Park would be a good place for the trip.
Wow.
So, and that's-
So what I would like to suggest,
that's where I thought it was,
if you guys
Okay.
are okay with this,
but I don't think it's.
is to have one of our committee members research time capsules. What other towns have done, what the material is, what the usual size is, and the size of a pocket watch, or is it the size of a coffin? A shoebox, what's the material made of, different research into what other towns have done. Or like Harvard, universities or whatever. I mean, does anybody here know that much about time capsules?
I have at least one person in our Tricentennial database that volunteered to work on a time capsule. Oh my God.
A survey, yeah.
So, there you go.
Yes.
So
You're elected.
we're,
No.
we're,
No, not you.
we know where we are, but I think some of the other towns, or whatever, their historical society or the historical commission takes the lead. So I don't think at this point in time that we would take ownership of the time capsule being done. But I don't think it would hurt to use some of our resources
I'm not quite good at research.
to become knowledgeable. And if we take the lead on it, then we'll know we're gonna do a good job. If these historical commission or society wants to take the lead, I think the select board would make the call, or if we're gonna have more than one time capsule. But I think this committee needs to know more about time capsules
Yeah.
before it's too
I'm
late.
happy to send you that.
So-
Yeah, yeah.
Is anybody want to nominate somebody in our committee to do that?
Can I nominate myself? Like,
I nominate Greg.
Yeah.
Done.
Figured.
Time
Yeah,
to-
second.
Oh, we're gonna vote on it?
Oh, do we have to vote on it?
No,
it's
no.
not. Okay.
So Kate, it's wide open. You know, come back with, oh, they're all pine boxes. Oh, they're all made out of, kryptonite. You know,
Cocaine. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, do they put newspapers in it? They used to.
Mhm.
And then when you open it up, it's just all powder. 100 years later or whatever. But what type of things get put in there? What type of things you don't put in there? You know, that type of stuff. And then where do they reside after, you know?
Working hand in hand with the historical society would probably be ideal, because that way they feel like they're involved, but you're not letting them make 100% of the decisions. Because that way, you know, do we put a thumb drive in there, for instance, and that has a bunch of stuff? But I think working hand in hand with the person who wants to volunteer, as well as you, as well as the historical society, at least that way you get. Everybody feels like they're involved and not kept out.
We have a historical society.
Yeah.
And we have a historical commission.
Ooh,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
this needs to be under the auspices
So-
of the actual town.
So I think. At this point, what I'm asking is to just gather information
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
and
information.
not take ownership of it. Not step up on any toes, but once the research might come back and say. The select board owns it, and that's it. So, okay, that's what we wanna do, okay. So the research will guide us as to the right way to do it, and. At some point, maybe we would reach out to the society or the commission, or not. And be told, okay, mind your own business.
I was thinking that the society might already have a clue. That's why I just thought of bringing them in,
Yep.
just because,
They might, but we wouldn't know if it's a good idea or not unless we do our own research.
Like to make a motion.
Mr. Dennington,
I move that we adjourn.
He's had a long day.
we need to pick a day in July. If you guys wanna meet in July, or if you think we got enough momentum to get us into August. I think this is almost our 18th or 19th meeting.
July 9th, that's a tough week. Maybe the 16th.
This room's available at 16.
Right. We didn't date, but I can.
At which time?
It's normally it's 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry about it. We'll,
And I think it's really important that we continue to meet as often
I
as
think
we
so,
can.
Yeah, the existing
Just
standards.
because, you say, oh, I have to get this done.
Did everyone agree with the 16?
sounds good.
Okay.
what was that date?
July.
16? Thank you.
Mr. Dennington,
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
motion's been made in second, any discussion, hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous, we're adjourned.
I've only
July
had
16th
the
at
most
6:30.
disastrous
Yes.
experiences where I've been on vacation and I've zoomed it. Yes.